What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new, I'm Jordan.
I'm Dylan.
And we are Bug Guts.
Yes.
And if you want to be part of the Bug Guts family, well, then you can subscribe to us. You can follow us on Instagram and stay updated with what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Instagram will be linked in the description below.
Yes.
So this is a Harley Davidson Dyna lowrider 1400 and from the 90s.
Yes,
right? Am I correct?
yeah. Not exactly sure of the year, but it's a 90s model.
Yeah. And we'd love to share our thoughts about it. So would you like to kick us off with it?
Yeah, so this bike is actually my dad's bike. There's quite a bit of sentimental value, just the way in which he got it, and someone actually blessed him with a bike. And yeah, it's a beautiful bike. It's quite torquey. I wouldn't say uncontrollable, but it's a very torquey bike. It's a cruiser. It's beautiful on the open roads. It's not meant to go fast or to drop super bikes from robot to robot, but it's just going to keep you at a nice, like, I probably shouldn't recommend any speeds, but it will keep you at whatever speed you need to go on the highway in a reasonable range, and I mean, it will just go. But yeah, I think one or two things. So the thing that this bike is most certainly not meant for is cornering. It's meant to go in a straight line and for a long time. The pegs are set up in such a way that you can't really get a good lean angle around the corner. So in one of the parts of our journey, which we'll show here, I was actually going around a little semicircle and I wasn't leaning aggressively, and I actually caught the floor with the peg. And I mean, I kind of wasn't expecting it, but I was trying to test for the lean angle, and that did kind of throw me off. But I mean, yeah, sorry, I'm talking a lot. Take us away with some of your thoughts.
Yeah, no. So my thoughts on the bike is, it is an old bike, so there is wear and tear done to it. I mean, it's done over 100,000 Ks. So keeping that in mind, just when I share my thoughts on it. So one thing that the brakes, they're almost non-existent. I think the brake discs are a little bit warped.
So it feels like ABS.
Yeah, so like when you're trying to slow down, it's like Yeah. But again, you're not really slowing down when you pull them, because again, riding this bike, it's like a death trap. It's so much fun. I think if you're after that adrenaline, I'm sure a super bike will offer that. But if you're scared of the speed, I think this would be a perfect substitute. I mean, I have ridden some quick bikes and they do bring a smile to my face, undoubtedly. But I found myself, when I was riding this for the first time, I was giggling like a little girl. I was like,
sure,
do you really need all that speed to have fun? Do you need all of that fancy technology and gadgets and stuff to keep you on the road?
I never thought I'd hear you say that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, probably they'll maybe save your life.
Yeah.
But for like sheer adrenaline, riding this, it's so awesome, because like Jordan was saying, it's not great at cornering, like I was mentioning earlier. The brakes don't work very well, but in terms of acceleration, it's decent. It can get you up to speed.
Yeah.
But when you're up to that speed, it's scary. You find yourself holding on for dear life and just hoping that nothing goes wrong.
Yeah.
Especially with the age that it's at. I mean, I'm sure it's a few rattles away. Well, probably not, but when you're riding it so like it's a few rattles away of falling apart. But
sure,
like I said, I'm sure it is still fun. I'm sure that's just the way it was designed to feel, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And about the pegs also, I found they're also incredibly weird spot.
It's an awkward position.
Yeah, like I'll add another spot now. When I was busy riding, I wasn't riding aggressively or anything of the sort, but my foot slipped off of the peg while I was taking a corner. And I feel like with the pegs, you have to always keep in mind, okay, hold my feet there. It's not a nice resting place. I'm sure the position of them can be changed. I think you were mentioning before we shot this video that the pegs can be mounted in 3 different positions, and I think it's in the neutral, or not the neutral,
in the middle of the 3.
Yeah, so I think for me personally, I'd bring it a bit closer, because I am shorter than Jordan, or I'm about 1.75 meters. So yeah, I think a bit closer would sort it out, and also the ape hangers, that just adds to the experience of having no control, riding a death trap sort of thing, because you're holding up here, and when you accelerate, like, it feels like it's like sucking you back, because you're not hunched down and there's nothing behind you, holding you in spot. it really is. It's such an experience riding this, and I really did have a blast. And it's something I never thought I would say about a cruiser, because I'm not the fondest of them. I mean, you know, there's bikes out there that can do pretty much everything better than them, but that's not the point of them. I think it's an experience. It's like an 80s, 70s muscle car. You know, it's just a gangster mobile. So
you kind of buy it more for the street cred than the fact that it ticks boxes. Because I think, you know, when it comes to cruisers, I don't know if it's maybe the stigma of the riders that puts people off, or like Dylan was, he mentioned in our previous shoot of this, he was saying that the bike doesn't particularly outshine others in categories. Like in terms of speed, there's super bikes that will trump them, and you know, in terms of cornering, super bikes might also, you know, trump them like big time. So in terms of like ticking boxes, a cruiser might not tick all the boxes, but you have to look at it for what it is, you know, and what it's designed to do, and it does what it's designed to do perfectly, which is just cruise. And you can take that bike on a long journey. I mean, this one with the ape hangers and the setup with the pegs, I wouldn't be comfortable on a long journey. But I mean, if you had to adjust the foot pegs to a different position, and because it's not my bike, we're not going to go through with doing that. And even changing the ape hangers, I mean, we do have the original handlebars, but putting them on means we're going to have to redo the cables and make sure everything, you know, fits nicely. But I think that would be a different riding experience. But overall, like, a cruise is meant to take you from A to B, and A and B must be very far apart, and you can just go. So in that sense, like, they work perfectly, and this motor's got more than enough power to do that.
Yeah. Although I did find one thing at highway speeds, you know, if you're in, it's a 6-speed, am I correct?
There's a 5-speed.
It's 5-speed, sorry, I can't really remember. But yeah, when you're in that 5th gear and you need to get going, I feel like it is a little bit like needing, you know, it doesn't
depends
really
on where
anywhere.
you are in the power band.
Yeah, if you are in its power band, if you're in a lower gear, you know, it gets up and goes.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gonna blow you away, or like,
But again, it's not meant to.
yeah, so it's not gonna warp time or anything of the sort. But like you said, it's not meant to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's meant to put a smile on your face.
Definitely, yeah.
Flies are irritating me, but yeah.
And again, it's got that street cred of being a Harley.
Yeah, and what's also so awesome about it is because it has aftermarket Screaming Eagle pipes, it like pops and bangs and burbles, and it does all of this super cool stuff. Like, you know, if you just rev it out and let it go and you get it, blah, 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 it's just...
Talking about the pops and bangs that Dylan was saying, so because of the pipes and the way that they're set up, when you basically like wind it in 2nd gear and you give it full tap and then let off, it just like pops, and it I was riding behind Dylan and it sounded like a flipping gunshot went off in front of me. And I mean, the coolest part is, like, where we were riding around cyclists, and you can actually check it out. It's really cool. We've recently partnered with a company called Rever, and we'll put the link to their YouTube, you know, in the description, and maybe even a prompt somewhere on the screen. But we recently partnered with them, and you can actually check out our riding route. So if you're in South Africa, go and ride that Cradle route. It's a really fun ride. It's not long, so, you know, you can just go in and mess around there for half a day, and, you know, you'll get rid of all your like cravings. And if you're from overseas, definitely come, you know, pull through, and also check out the other rides in South Africa that are on the Rever app. So yeah, we're going to be adding a lot more to their database, so you guys can follow our routes and check out what we're doing, and yeah, join the app.
Yeah. I mean, even there at the Cradle, I believe there's caves somewhere there. I forgot what they're called.
Sterkfontein caves,
yes. So we're also planning a trip out there, which is going to be super cool. So we're also going to add that to the Rever app. And that's an upcoming video, so be sure to check that out. So yeah, with that being said, is there anything else you'd like? Oh, about the bike's looks.
Yes.
That's definitely something I'd love to touch on. I think overall it's a good looking bike. I'm not particularly fond of cruisers, again, so just keep that in mind when I'm telling you stuff. Like, you know, I'd rather go for something like, you know, an MB or the Ducatis. I think just that Italian design is like, oh, it's nice. But in general, I think, you know, when people see a cruiser or anything of the sort, they immediately think Harley Davidson, whether it be at Harley Davidson or not. And like I said, you do look like a gangster on it, especially when you're wearing the American flag and mustache and
Yeah,
everything.
we did it.
Yeah,
Does it look familiar?
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
the stereotype for Harley riders. It's so cool.
By the way, comment what you think that guy was saying, because we don't know. We don't speak that dialect.
Yeah.
That's like the Harley Chad, the Chadder Harleys, the cream of the crop. That's you can't take the Harley out of that guy. So comment what you think he was saying, and we'll see if it lines up.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, your thoughts on the bike's looks, or?
Yeah, so I'd have to say I'm a little bit more biased. Dylan's definitely been pulling me away from the cruisers because I kind of grown up with knowing Harley and a Buell at the time that they were in partnership. So I really dig the look. I'm not the biggest fan of the ape hangers from some angles for some reason. Like from the back, I think it would look way better with like normal, just drop handlebars or something like that. But from the front, it really does look like, it looks gangster. But it is kind of funny, like if you ride from the back, it kind of looks like the person's doing a wheelie the whole time. Like the way that forces you to sit kind of just looks like that. So yeah, but I mean, I really like the decals. I don't know if you can see from here, but I love the decals on the bike. That's proper old school Harley. And I mean, yeah, like the flashiness of the chrome. I like the new Harleys, definitely, in the way they've started to black them out. But I mean, again, for the era of this bike and what it is, I think this bike really reflects that era of Harley quite well. Yeah, so I really do like the bike. And I mean, it's, in terms of comfort, riding comfort, I mean, we've touched on it, but it's not bad. Like the seat itself is comfortable. The grip, maybe not so much. And like Dylan said, the foot peg position is a little bit on the awkward side, but I mean,
it can be changed.
It can be changed, and yeah, overall, it's a fun bike. It is a really cool bike, and it's iconic. And I mean, it's like driving a Mustang.
Yeah,
watch out for crowds.
Yeah. Definitely not a bike I would start out on, especially
No.
if you're looking at going to the cruise, because it's such a difficult bike to ride.
Yeah.
Or not difficult, but like I would say at
It's
the lower
different.
speeds.
Yeah.
Okay, I find at lower speeds it's difficult, but once you get moving, it's okay. So,
And one thing I don't think we mentioned is the clutch pull on this is very interesting. So compared to the Vulcan 900 that I'm busy borrowing at this stage, that clutch is very like it's all the way at the end.
It's like
there's
an
such
on-off switch,
basically.
almost, yeah.
But with this, the minute you let go, there's it starts engaging. So it that's definitely something to get used to. I find I've stalled once or twice, and you feel like such a chop.
Yeah.
But again, like that clutch is super sensitive in that sense, which for some people they like, and I mean it's just something to get used to.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say really.
Yeah. So with that being said, catch you in the next one.
Yeah, stick around, like, subscribe, share, and yeah, we hope you stick along for the journey.
Yeah.